3 women invited me upstairs, but I never expected what happened next. When I look back on that evening, I still wonder if I had stepped into a scene from a movie or if fate had simply decided to play a strange hand in my life. My name is Daniel Reed, and I live in a small town in Oregon. I work as a contractor, mostly dealing with house renovations. Life for me has been fairly ordinary, full of long hours, the occasional weekend gathering with friends, and quiet nights with my dog. But one night changed all of that, and I'm not sure I'll ever forget it. It all started when my friend Mark invited me to a small gathering at his cousin's place. Mark had always been the more social one in our circle of friends. He thrived in groups, loved introducing people, and had this natural ability to make any room feel alive. I, on the other hand, preferred quieter evenings, but I agreed to go because it had been months since I had gone out for anything fun. The gathering was at a large old Victorian-style house that had been renovated into apartments. His cousin, however, had access to the whole house since she managed the property. I didn't know what to expect when I arrived, but I figured it would be a casual evening with a few people and some music. When I walked in, the house was buzzing with energy. Soft music played in the background, the smell of food drifted through the air, and people were scattered in small groups laughing and chatting. Mark immediately introduced me to a few people, but what caught me most off guard was when I was approached by 3 women I had never met before. Their names were Rachel, Emily, and Sarah. Each of them had a different kind of energy that made me feel like I had just walked into the center of attention. Rachel had this confident charm. She carried herself with elegance and seemed like the kind of person who naturally took the lead. Emily was warm and cheerful, her smile immediately putting me at ease. Sarah, the quieter of the 3, had a thoughtful expression, and when she spoke, it was as though she chose her words carefully, giving weight to everything she said. We started talking casually about the house, and Rachel mentioned that the upstairs area was beautiful, but not everyone usually got to see it. Emily chimed in, saying the old architecture and design were worth the walk. Sarah gave me a little smile and said, "You should come upstairs with us. We'll show you." At first, I thought they were just being polite, but then I realized they were serious. I glanced at Mark, who gave me a teasing grin, and before I knew it, I was following the 3 women upstairs. The staircase creaked slightly under our steps, and as we climbed, I couldn't help but notice the old details of the house. The carved wooden railing, the patterned wallpaper, and the stained glass window at the landing that caught the moonlight in a way that made the hallway glow. By the time we reached the top, I was curious about what they wanted to show me. Rachel pushed open a set of double doors, and we stepped into a wide room that looked like something out of another era. There was a fireplace at one end, antique furniture arranged in clusters, and shelves lined with books that looked untouched for years. "This was once a library," Rachel explained. "The original owners were collectors. Most people who live here now never come up here, but we thought you'd appreciate it." Emily added with a laugh, "Besides, it's quieter up here. Sometimes when the party downstairs is too much, we sneak away." Sarah simply nodded, her gaze lingering on the bookshelves as if they held secrets she was still trying to discover. At first, I thought this was just a casual tour, but then the evening took an unexpected turn. Rachel asked me what I did for a living, and when I told her I worked in home renovations, her eyes lit up. "That explains it," she said. "The way you were looking at the details on the staircase, the railing, the windows, you noticed things most people wouldn't." Emily clapped her hands together and said, "Perfect. Then you're exactly the person we needed." I looked at her, a bit puzzled, and asked what she meant. That's when Sarah spoke up for the first time in a while. "We've been trying to figure out what to do with this room. It has so much potential, but we don't know where to start. Maybe you could give us some ideas." I chuckled at first, thinking they were just making small talk, but then I realized they were serious. Rachel walked over to one of the walls and pointed out cracks in the plaster. Emily gestured to the fireplace, saying it didn't work anymore, but she wished it did. Sarah quietly mentioned that the floorboards near the window had gotten loose. Before I knew it, I was on my knees inspecting the flooring, tapping it gently and talking about possible fixes. The 3 of them gathered around, listening intently, asking questions and giving suggestions. It turned into a kind of impromptu brainstorming session about how to bring the old library back to life. Hours slipped by without me noticing. At one point, Emily brought up a tray of coffee and cookies from downstairs, and we sat in a circle, sipping and talking not just about the room but about life. Rachel talked about her job as a graphic designer and how she loved old architecture because it gave her inspiration. Emily shared stories from her work as a teacher and how she used to bring her students to old buildings on field trips. Sarah revealed that she was a writer and often came to this room for quiet, hoping the atmosphere would spark her creativity. It struck me how different they all were, yet they shared this appreciation for history, beauty, and stories waiting to be told. The night grew later, but none of us seemed to mind. What had started as a simple invitation upstairs had turned into a night of deep conversations, laughter, and even planning. Rachel suggested making the room into a shared space, a place where they could host gatherings, work on projects, or simply relax away from the noise. Emily wanted it to feel warm and inviting, with cozy seating and shelves full of books people could actually read. Sarah quietly said she hoped there would be a desk by the window where she could write. They asked me if I would help them with it, not just with the technical fixes, but with the vision. I hesitated, not sure if they were serious, but when I saw the excitement in their eyes, I realized they meant every word. That night changed the direction of my life in ways I never could have predicted. Over the following weeks, I found myself coming back to that house again and again. Each visit brought us closer together. We tore down damaged wallpaper, repaired the fireplace, fixed the floorboards, and slowly transformed the space. But beyond the renovation, friendships blossomed. Rachel pushed me to see beauty in the details I might have overlooked. Emily's energy and kindness reminded me of the importance of making spaces feel welcoming. Sarah's thoughtful nature and creative spirit made me realize how much a room could influence someone's imagination. We laughed through the mess, shared countless cups of coffee, and even had our disagreements about design choices. But somehow, every challenge only brought us closer. By the time the project was complete, the library had become something far greater than a restored room. It had become a symbol of connection, creativity, and the unexpected turns life can take. What I never pleased. Sorry, second part next story. Again.